This is a test for geniuses only. You must cross the room without stepping on the black and white squares on the floor. There were only a few yellow squares on the floor, but they were far apart. So the first girl just looked at them and said no. Without exception, she was eliminated. Then it was the second girl's turn. She threw out a rope and fixed it to the opposite doorknob, then used the rope to walk across the room. The boy was strong and quickly passed through the room with a simple jump. As for this boy, he was very clever, seizing the loophole in the question, directly on his knees and elbows on the ground. Little by little, he climbed over. At this point, there was only one last boy left, and he just took one look at the room and walked straight through. Miraculously, he also passed the exam. The other candidates were stunned. The boy said that the question was not to step on squares, but the squares on the floor were not the same length and width, so they were rectangles and not squares. The invigilator was very pleased and took them to the next exam. They went through a long underground passage and came to a manor house. The invigilator told them that the test was inside the manor. Which of them do you think is smarter? It's a world of Down's syndrome. Everyone can't tie their shoes, only the boy is different. The doctors diagnosed him before he was born, but his parents had him anyway. Since then, people have been peeking in on this special child every day. When the boy went to school, everyone's shoelaces were tangled and the teacher couldn't fix them. But the boy just looked at them and untied them. People felt amazed. They bought a pair of shoes with laces and gave them to the boy as a birthday present just to see him show how to tie his shoes. After examining him, the doctor found that he was missing a chromosome. So the nurses searched in his pants pockets and the parents searched through his clothes, but they couldn't find anything. They had no choice but to give him a painful treatment. Luckily, they didn't know how to tie a rope, so the boy escaped. When the boy grew up, people set up exclusive parking spaces for him and rushed to take pictures with him. The boy didn't like it. He decided to have an operation to make him normal. Suddenly, the boy saw a pair of tied shoes. He turned his head to look and saw a girl. They were attracted to each other, who soon fell in love and tied people's shoes together. Soon after, they invented a special shoe and people were no longer bothered by tying their shoes. The woman walks into an upscale clothing store and all the models look at her, urging Alma to place her order as soon as possible. They all raise their hands and guide Alma towards a pink dress. Alma sees it and wants to buy it immediately, but the price on the label breaks Alma's impulse. She asked the salesgirl if she could get it cheaper, but the salesgirl looked down on her. So Alma took a deep look at the dress, then went to the fabric store, bought a piece of pink fabric, and decided to make the dress herself. The next day, she wore it to a party, but everyone hates her, except this woman who greets her because her dead aunt had the exact same brooch. Alma was puzzled. The brooch was found on the floor while she was sewing, and the tag had a name and a date on it. Coincidentally, the name on the tag happened to be the same as the woman's aunt, so Alma goes home, looks around the attic, and finally finds a box on the floor with a full label. Puzzled, Alma puts the box back. But when Alma opens it, there's a fan in the box with a date on it from yesterday, so the woman looked up the name on the label and found an address. To her shock, all she saw was a woman who had lost her breath.